I have a very good video I want to watch first. At some point last year, I have reacted to music. Shut up for 2 seconds. Thank you. At some point last year, I have reacted to Psybears' clear of Ifrit fight, and he was healing. Since then, I participated in a couple of his blind prog events, mainly the Alexander ones. I believe I was in 2 fights. And he has finally decided to heal another fight, despite promising ages ago. Well, to be fair, he did this 4 months ago, so I'm a bit late to the party. And I'm curious how far he's gotten as a healer. We're gonna react to this. This is not specifically the clear, this is him talking about his experience as the healer in E11S. Gatebreaker, which is honestly gonna be very triggering for me because I'm currently progging through, and Fatebreaker is the star of this fight. The mechanics are kind of different, so it's gonna be probably a bit frustrating for me to even rewatch this, let alone if he's gonna start messing up healer mechanics. But let's see what happened and how did it go.
Hello, everyone. So recently, if you've been keeping up with the old Final Fantasy XIV streams, you'll know that I tackled E11 Savage.
Ooh.
Blind Mine. Solo cooking. Now, not only that, this is where the unique part comes in, I was healing. What? But Sai, we all know you as the greatest monk player.
I thought he was a samurai player. Wait, hold on. Did he swap to monk? I thought he was a samurai player. What happened?
In the whole of the world. Yes, that is true. That is true. But on this occasion, I decided to heal E11 because we ran a subathon in Japan, and part of the conditions of that subathon, one of the goals that were met, was for me to heal E11.
I thought he healed because he promised me to heal. He promised me to do a proc fight as a healer. Oh, so it's all about money, you whore. I'm kidding.
And so I did. And what an experience it was. I just want to talk to you guys about my healing adventure going into this boss. I'd never healed before, technically, kind of. The only thing I'd healed before was as an astrologian in...
It's pronounced astrologian. Keep up with the times.
On Ifrit Extreme. That was the only thing I'd healed before.
And what healing he has done. He kept spamming spells and not reaching half the group with him. It was amazing. Good job, though.
And then I did all the rest of the... And that was back in ARR. And I did all the content through the game. I'm now in at the end of Shadowbringers. I'm ready to start Endwalker. I'm on E12. We're progressing E12. We're at the Lions. Oh my god. Back on Monk, thankfully. That boss looks disgusting to heal.
E12? Surprisingly. Maybe it's just my experience. But healing E12 was a lot easier than E11. Healing E12S was a lot fucking easier than E11S. It is a lot easier to plan a healing rotation for E12S than E11S, because E11S can go in all sorts of different ways.
This was my first healing experience in a Savage at all, and I just went straight in. No sort of assistance. I was also raid leading at the time and also blind cooking it. So I was trying to figure out the strategies and heal at the same time. And I gotta say, I was really stressed out in the lead up to it. I was really not looking forward to it. And I thought this is gonna be catastrophic. This is not going well at all. There's no chance. But actually, I loved it. And it was... I don't want to say simple. Like, it was simple but difficult. You know what I mean? Like, it was simple but challenging. So actually healing and raid leading and blind cooking was actually okay. I could do it all.
Just a personal note, from my experience, the easiest jobs to raid lead from, regardless if you're the strat cooker or not, but raid leading or shot calling, the easiest jobs to do it from are tanks and healer. Just because of how more simple our rotations are. Not all tanks. Some tanks do need the brain power, but because tanks specifically function in a raid instance around mechanics, their brain is already kind of wired around being mechanically inept to shot call. And healers, honestly, healing is easy. Healers don't have a lot of mechanics other than heal. Maybe healer stacks. So shot calling from a healer position is very easy.
Now, that didn't mean that it was an easy fight and that I didn't have any struggles. Of course I did. But it wasn't like impossible for me to do all of the jobs that I was trying to do and wear all the different hats I was trying to wear. So let me just talk to you guys about that's the premise, that's the setup for all of this. But let me just talk to you about my healing experience. And I do want to just outline this and say, I know what people like in this game. God bless them. People love to sit there and go, oh my god, he's used a GCD heal. That could have been a damage ability.
No, don't. No, ignore those people. It is important that healers do DPS, but if you're not healing even, if you're not even like willing to spend 1 GCD to heal your team, we in the raiding business call that being mentally ill. Not everything about DPS you are not parsing, and if during prog you're not willing to press a fucking GCD to heal the team, raiding might not be for you, or at least not healing, because that is a very, very weird way to look at raiding if it's all about specifically damage and not adapting to anything that could happen. Because the whole job of a healer is to specifically what would be the right way to call this? Risk mitigate. To mitigate risk. You apply mitigation, you apply healing specifically, so there's less chance of people dying. People might die. They might die to damage, they might die to stupid. Number of things. But if there's people judging you for using a GCD heal, fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck these parse monkeys. Once you have cleared the fight, at least a good like 8 to 10 times, and you know your entire team is BIS, if we're specifically talking about on-content, why you're parsing older content, no fucking idea. But unless everyone has had the experience of practicing the fight multiple times, then sure, you can optimize your rotation, optimize your cooldowns a lot better, and, you know, have less chances of having to use a GCD heal during uptime specifically, not downtime. During downtime, sometimes you have to, right? But if you're progging and people are telling you to do more damage than healing, fuck them. Fuck them.
You're supposed to heal with OGCDs. This guy is a noob. I will shun him, and I will go to the forums, and I will talk about how terrible of a healer he is, and how he should uninstall, and how he should go back to World of Warcraft, the easy game. And I get it. But I just want to talk to you guys about the fact that I don't care. That's all I have to say. I do not care.
You go, girl. You show it.
I had fun, and that's what matters. I had fun. It was incredible. I had a really good time. Did I overheal at times? Yes, I did. But did I have fun? You betcha. Did we?
And that's the most important part. If you are playing video games or you're not having fun, there are little few things that I can say that will help your situation. We play games for fun. We raid for fun. Whatever we do, even challenges, we do them for fun. If you are not having fun, either change the game or, I don't know, punch some traffic cones somewhere else. I don't fucking know. I'm not a therapist, but clearly your place isn't around these parts.
Did we kill the boss? Yes. Did we wipe it in rage a few times? Yes. Is this the biggest feeding I've ever done on any boss so far in this game? Yes. But goddamn, did I have fun? Yeah.
Good. Good. I have been saying this multiple times. If anyone ever needs to understand when it is the most fun to raid, it's prog. During prog. That's why the most exciting times, even in streaming careers, when most people will gather to see people prog, it's specifically the world race, or Echo coming in and blind progging something, or events like that, right? That's gonna be the most fun. Or streamers, you know, progging a fight, that's gonna be fun to watch. Nobody wants to watch reclears. Who gives a fuck? Oh, you're really good at this fight. Anyways, any other talents? Prog has got to be always the most fun. It's always got to be the most fun for both the viewer and for the writers themselves. Figuring out, like, even if you got a guide, you got to figure out your rotations, you got to figure out the puzzle of the cooldowns. That is always going to be the most fun.
Yes! I did! It was so good. This boss as well, I think, is a phenomenal boss. Just the boss, the design itself. At first, I was like, man, I hate this boss. All of the visuals, all of the spell names are the same, and the visual of the ability is the same with a slight color twist. And that's it. Is it fire? Is it lightning? Is it light?
He's not wrong. For those who have not participated during the Eden Promise tier. E11S essentially has 5 mechanics. If I am counting correctly, it had like 5 mechanics. But they all differentiate specifically by the variant of the color. And I'm trying to remember, it's been a while since I've done E11S. If, for example, the tethers, right? If the tether is fire, it's a group stack. If the tether is lightning, the player with the tether had to go north, and the 2 closest targets would be baiting these like thunder cones. Usually those people would be the tanks. Same with any other mechanics. Like, for example, like you've seen multiple times in the video that you're watching right now, if he's casting fire, it's pair stacks. If he's casting thunder, everyone's spreading for like a little AoE happening around them. If he is casting, what was the third one? I'm trying to remember. Light, I think it was light. Yeah, it would be 3 group stacks. Essentially, it's like 3 player stacks, and I believe tanks would just stack on each other. At least as far as I remember the strat. On paper, this fight just has like 5 mechanics.
Which is kind of dumb, because lightning is light anyway. You know what? Whatever. Technicality, but whatever. So, the boss is really cool. I thought it was an incredible design.
Oh god,
I
the
cooked
doors.
some of this stuff really quickly. Actually, I actually think I cooked quicker.
I forgot about the doors, god. For some reason, during 11S, there's like multiple mechanics that people had trouble with, but for some reason, these doors specifically would confuse the fuck out of people. Not these ones, not the first doors. There's another set of doors later. There's gotta be an ad that will spawn in the middle and basically makes middle like uncrossable. You had to bait the ad to the correct side so that the safe side wouldn't be combed by the ad. For some reason, a lot of players were confused, very confused about that mechanic. And the other one was the dispersion mechanic, the one where everyone had to jump or go in depending if their clone was lifting the gun or not.
On this boss, and I have in most other bosses. Like this mirror thing right here, like I cooked that like instantly. I just felt really good. I just felt really clean and crisp during this whole E11 experience. Maybe it was this raiding break that I'd taken previously that it just allowed me to kind of come in and just be fresh, ready to rock it.
Burn Strike. So you see everyone's preparing. Burn Strike essentially is going to send a line across the arena. If it was lightning, the line would also later expand a couple of yalms. So essentially you had to not just like try to uptime while disconnecting from the bus for a good GG and a half, but if it's fire, it's going to be pushback. So you either... Don't remember, does knockback immunity does not work in the ultimate, but it works in Savage. So you essentially either use that, or you walk towards the middle and get pushed kind of close to the edge. I don't remember, was there a Burn Strike for light element? I don't remember anymore. It's been a while, I'm old and dying, I'm sorry.
And so I had a really, really good time with pulling this boss. Took us 60 pulls. We had a good few wipes.
No, there is. You would have to spread, right? God, it's been a while. Maybe I need to go back. Actually, no, I don't need to go back. I'm doing free right now. It's gonna confuse the fuck out of me. But yeah, the more I think about it, yeah, like this fight was fun just because every other mechanic could be different from what you are actually expecting because of the color.
In Enrage, like I said, I definitely made a lot of mistakes, and I definitely didn't heal optimally. So if anyone's going to criticize like that kind of stuff, I'm just going to be honest with you guys.
They essentially just need to go out for a really big AoE.
I don't really care if I didn't heal great. I healed well enough. So getting into the healing aspect of it...
Skip? Yeah, I was showing that mechanic. Hold on, did he skip?
I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I don't really care if I didn't heal great. I healed well enough. So getting into the healing...
In terms of healing, it's like, if people did not die and you killed the boss, you did your job. Who gives a fuck how well you did your job? Okay, a good example is, if you're a firefighter, there's a house on fire, you came in and you put out the fire, you've done your job. It doesn't matter how optimally you use the axe and the water and the spray. If the end result is people are alive and the fire is gone, you have done your job. Same with healing. If people did not die and you have cleared the fight, you're fine. You don't need to work for style points or extra Twinkie points when you are progging.
Aspect of it, I don't want to overanalyze things too much because I've not healed in WoW in like 12 years or something. Like,
to be fair, healing in WoW is a bit different. And healing in WoW is a lot more proactive. Just for it to clarify for anyone who might be confused about the difference in healing, or why I'm even pausing to bring this up. In World of Warcraft, healing is a bit more proactive, regardless what kind of healer you are. If you're a shaman or, disciplined priest, you're still going to be trying to make some healing numbers, regardless what utility you bring in comparison to like a holy priest or a rusted druid, right? You're still going to be trying to heal. There's always going to be like mini instances of raid wights coming out. The entire team is always going to need some healing. Not just like a big cast that does a lot of damage and everyone needs to spam a lot of cooldowns. There's just going to be constantly like these invisible little ticks of damage going on the entire group. We're talking specifically retail right now, to be fair. I don't know what's happening in Classic. I know Tyler died, but haha, teehee. But in retail, there's constant damage coming out. You are constantly healing. In 14, as much as we like to differentiate, shield healers and barrier healers, regen healers and barrier healers, right? That one of them is more proactive, the other one is more, whatever the fuck the other word. So basically, regen healers focus on topping up the people and making sure people have enough health for upcoming mechanics. They still have a bit of utility, and they have a lot of cool cooldowns. They have some mitigation, but not as much as shield healers. Shield healers, not as much healing throughput. Actually, maybe not in Dawntrail, because Sage and Scholar have some giga cooldowns right now. But Scholar and Sage main priority is to specifically mitigate damage. Shields, damage reduction, all that shit, specifically to mitigate incoming damage before it happens, right? But both jobs, because of how raid instances in 14 are designed, essentially need to plan a bit. The moment you start a fight, let's say you prog into 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 4 minutes, you already have an idea which cooldowns you're going to be using at which point. Because you had to at some point, otherwise people died. And then that cooldown is always going to be used there. In World of Warcraft, cooldowns can be a bit more flexible, depending what kind of fight, but sometimes some cooldowns just need to be thrown out just to keep the team alive. For example, a good example, Battle for Dazara Lore. If you are on, I'm trying to remember which side, either Horde side or Alliance side, there was like two different options to the Gorilla boss. There's this Gorilla boss that would just send out these massive raid wights, right? And you had to stack multiple cooldowns, especially like on Mythic, just to survive that. Multiple cooldowns. I was the responsible killing officer at the time in my guild. So you had to send like multiple cooldowns just to survive that. But the rotation isn't always going to be very static. Sometimes your cooldown isn't going to be back in time for the next one, right? So you don't know if you're going to be using your cooldown on the next one, or the one after, or the one after. There's also going to be an interrupt rotation, and there's always going to be a rotation of people in which order they got to do. And that's not going to be based on the cooldown of their interrupts. Unlike here in 14, where, for example, an interrupt can be kind of in sync with the mechanics of the boss. Like, for example, DSR, P1. The interrupts are mainly planned around tank rotation of interrupts. Essentially, what my long fucking thesis means, healing is different, but it's not as hectic or as, let's even fucking say, dramatic as it is in World of Warcraft. If you can plan your day, you can plan a rotation in a raid fight.
Like 10 years? So it's been a really long time since I've properly healed in raid and WoW, so I can't really do great comparisons, but one thing I do want to comment on, which I think hopefully is still sound, is the fact that healing in FF feels so good on prog, and I feel like it wouldn't feel as good on farm. But the prog...
He is correct. I've said this multiple times before. It is the most fun to heal when you are progging. This is like separate from what I said before. The most fun raiding is during prog, but as a healer, especially, the most fun you're gonna have is when you are progging, because anything can happen and you might need to react. You need to know your tool set. You need to accommodate your team with a bit of a safety net, strong enough to prog through the fight further. Once you got the fight on farm, as I mentioned before, both types of healers need to plan out their cooldowns across the fight. Once you know when you're gonna press the right button at the right time, farming is Snoresville, USA, population me and the every other fucking healer. The moment you have a rotation of cooldowns for the entirety of fights, fuck, it's boring. It's boring. We need a more complicated rotation of DPS and healers, but until then, healing becomes boring when you start specifically farming a fight.
Healing in FF is so good. It's so enjoyable. You know damage is going to go out. You know people are going to make mistakes. You know you're going.
But that's when the people who talk about spending a DCD on DPS essentially are gonna be right. Once you got the fight on farm and you got enough gear to do more damage, that is gonna be the art of having fun after prog as a healer. You're gonna try to optimize as much damage as possible from you yourself while minimizing the amount of cooldown or healing you need to send out towards your team. Like the little finesse of balance. That is gonna be the minuscule amount of fun you're gonna have. But even then, once that's fucking sorted and you have a cooldown rotation that's completely optimized up to a T, fuck, it's boring.
Going to have an impact as a healer, and you know there's that little bit of, yes, you can pre-plan as much as you want, but there's going to be that little bit of like mystery of, is something going to go wrong, and then do I have to step up? And I like that. But the comparison to WoW sort of,
that is the mystery. Maybe something might go wrong. But remember, every single healer at some point in their career in any game has said this following phrase: I cannot heal stupid. So sometimes surprise can be pleasant. Ooh, I have something to do. But sometimes it's just, should we do this if people are being stupid? They will not learn if we babysit them.
In FF, I know that everyone's taking damage, and I know sort of when they're going to be taking damage, or I know who's going to be taking.
Oh, that was such a risky move. Hold on. I forgot that White mages now get a dash at level 40.
In FF...
Did he dash through the dead zone? Hold on.
I know that everyone's taking damage,
and I know
sort of when they're going to be taking
damage. He did. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Damage. Or I know who's going to be taking damage, more specifically. Maybe it's all of us, maybe it's one specific person, and you have time to sort of plan for that most of the time. Whereas in WoW, I feel like you've got 20 raiders, and damage is going to go out on a certain group of people, and that's that. And then you sort of have to reactively heal them up as a result. But in FF, it's like you know where the healing is gonna be needed. You know where the damage is gonna go.
Yep.
And I like that a lot more. I feel like I can better plan for things. I feel like I can be better organized as a healer, at least in my limited experience. So yeah, it's really cool in that regard. One thing I did find on this fight in particular as well is if we fell behind, it was really quite difficult to sort of recover. If I lost a healer, if I lost Enna, then it was way more of a challenge for me to have to then step up. But it was a fun challenge, and it was a lot of times doable.
That is a very important point. In Final Fantasy XIV, we're kind of stuck to the meta of 2 tanks, 2 healers for DPS. Like, the only flexible thing at most, you might have 2 shield healers, never 2 regen, not since ERS, whatever mix of DPS you want. People have done for melees, for ranged, regardless of the 5%. We also have a lot less funny utility skills. So, for example, in World of Warcraft, where if you have one healer dead, the other healer isn't going to start rezzing. Chances are they don't necessarily have a res if they're not a paladin or if they're not a druid, right? Let's say you got a couple of shamans, right, that are healing besides you. The DPS can res you, and sometimes the DPS can also help with healing. On Mythic, God, sometimes it's so important that the DPS just stop fucking DPSing for 2 seconds and help with off healing. The monks, the paladins, the shamans, just a bit of like spot healing on any target in World of Warcraft there is a lot more utility, a lot more personality to the classes. While in 14, you either have a summoner or a red mage that can kind of help with rezzing, or the other healer is now responsible for your entire team surviving because they gotta res the healer and make sure people don't do that thing where they die from damage. The stakes are a bit higher.
Doable. So I did enjoy that as well. It's nice having those hero moments, and I do look for those as a healer. I feel like that's a big reason why you would want to play healer, is for the hero moments. So I enjoyed that quite a bit.
If you enjoy hero moments, I recommend playing tank. I know this sounds like, as a healer main, I wish people would heal more. I wish people would play healer more. But I know why I'm having trouble recruiting healers into my static right now. I know why. Because people want the hero moments in 14, and those hero moments, unfortunately, are DPS and tanks. Especially tanks. Tank LB can save so many pulls. So many pulls. A competent tank can carry the fucking pull with just understanding the fight properly. The most hero moments you're gonna get in this game, oh, you got a fucking DPS melee LB3. Fucking great. I don't care. I have seen so many tanks save the pool with just right mechanical prowess. In through, like, if the health bars aren't equal on P4, a tank can just run out and sack themselves. Or a good tank LB, like, doesn't matter, LB1, LB2, LB3. I've seen Yuka pulls saved by a hairline because the tank was a Giga Chad. So if you want, like, a proper experience to have a bunch of hero moments for yourself, tanks. Just don't be one of those tanks that just solos the fight after everyone is dead. Those tanks are just a waste of fucking time. We get it, you're cool, you're strong. Can we, like, not spend 20 minutes watching you DPS the boss?
What else I have to really say about the healing? That's a lot of it, really. Just said it was really enjoyable. I don't like the DPS component as much, but I get it. Like, you have to be doing something. If you're just standing around doing no globals, then that would be pretty silly. That would be a pretty silly way of designing healers. I much prefer having to heal. Something I commented on is wanting to have more uses of Azuna, like Dispel. It'd be cool if there were more mechanics where dispelling was a thing on fights. Because
last instances of Isuna, they were in Endwalker. It was just, if I remember right, it was A12S, but it's P2. It's not that fun. Isuna, unfortunately, is not an exciting mechanic. Like, for those who don't know, there was a lot more functions or variants of Isuna in the game before. But before Shadowbringers, they got rid of all of them. Right now, all the Isuna are basically on healers and a bard. Bards can apply a pre-dispel on a target. If they get a debuff, they get dispelled immediately, which is fun on some fights, right? But after this, if he decides to do T, that's going to be the next fight where Isuna is present. To be fair, I feel like he would have fun doing T, especially after he blind progged the previous fights. Savage. There are dispels basically in P1, but that's it, honestly. That's it. And the next instances of dispelling are E12S. Sorry, A12S. Well, we got some, like, dispel mechanics right now in Chaotic, but fucking that's nothing. You dispel Doom off of people who were stupid enough to get hit by mechanics. That's not fun. It's not really anything. But before Shadowbringers, because they wanted to actually have some more Isuna mechanics, the Selene version of Fairies on Scholar would auto-dispel. Auto-dispel. Before they took Selene, who could DPS, who could auto-dispel and interrupt on her own without anyone's fucking command or help, she could auto-do that. They took that away from us before Shadowbringers. But in good news, now the Isuna is not a cast anymore. It is now instant. So T is gonna be a lot easier for healers. A lot boring, but a lot more boring, but it's gonna be a lot easier.
Really loved the dot damage. Every time it would do, I think it was Burning Glory, there'd be the dot on everybody, and I could sort of pre-plan my Medicas, and I could do a juiced up Medica with one of my other heal cooldowns. It's on my F2 right now, I can't remember exactly what it was. Where you sort of improve the cast of your next...
I'm trying to remember, it's not Tetragrammaton, it's the Plenary Indulgence. That's what it's called, Plenary Indulgence. That is the cooldown he's talking about that increases the healing of GCD heals.
Spellcast, and I'd use that on Medica, and it would just like last the full Burning Glory, and that was really cool. By the way, I will comment really briefly. So on this,
hold on, what? Last? It doesn't. It just get. Wait, hold on. Am I remember this spell wrong? Hold on. Am I the stupid one? Will receive additional healing upon receiving HP recovery. Okay, yeah. So the initial healing of those spells. The initial healing of those spells is just going to have an extra potency of heals. It doesn't increase. It does not improve your region. It does not improve your region, unfortunately. Your region was the same. But the initial healing of Medica 2, there's like, once you hit people with Medica 2, before the region, there's a little bit of healing. That gets a bit of extra on top of that. That's what that spell does. It doesn't improve your region.
This was really cool. I cooked that people jump up and down if they had the sword raised up in the air. So we would go to two people that were standing still. Apparently people were really impressed with like how I cooked this and said this was really good. So
I mean, there's not really other options to do this. Because of how this particular mechanic is done. Actually, it's done essentially more or less similar to how it's done in Fruit. Kind of more or less. But there's not really any other way to do this unless you have people on comms. So if you don't have people on comms, they gotta communicate something. And the international symbol or signal of saying, come over here, is jumping up and down repeatedly. We've seen this in raids or alliance raid, or someone is trying to show you where to go. They're gonna jump up and down just to kind of get your attention. No, like, good on him for figuring it out. But there's not really other options to kind of do here.
So that's really cool. That was really exciting. I did love that. Cooking this little section was phenomenal. Yeah, it was great. I think I even do some stupid pull in here, some rescue. Nah. Oh, yeah, I do. Oh, look at that rescue, dude. Oh.
But why? But why, though? You didn't need to. All this mechanic does is it just shoots through the middle. You didn't need to rescue anyone. I feel like hold on. I feel like they could have made it.
Yeah, it's great. I think I even do some stupid pull in here, some rescue. Nah. Oh yeah, I do.
Yeah, you just you just yoinked someone from the other party. You know what's even more fun? If you're a sage, because sages have the ability to dash to a target. So if you can time it correctly, you cast dash towards them and rescue at the same time. You're swapping places with them. So that was very fun during Ubu Prog for me.
Dude, oh, look at that rescue, dude. Oh, oh, that's questionable. That's questionable at best. They were already safe, and that's funny. So yeah, I love this boss. Great boss. But as I was saying, I would like more uses of a dispel, but not just a boring sort of like, oh, there's dot damage and dispel it, and that be that. You could do some interesting things with dispels. I came up with some ideas after we'd killed the boss, and I commented on some of them. I can't remember them all off the top of my head now, but I remember that I did speak about that. The idea of having Azuna be used more. So it's like used in...
To be fair, like, the way our Isuna functions, it's not that fun. It's not that fun. They cannot exactly do some exciting mechanics strictly around Isuna. Because even the developers essentially are encouraging you to guess more rather than heal or do healing mechanics. Unfortunately. I don't like it. A lot of us don't like it, but unfortunately, that is currently the case. It is currently the case that people just simply are encouraged to optimize your rotation to the point where you don't need to GCD do anything, including Isuna, because Isuna is going to be a GCD for you. I would love some more, like, Isuna mechanics, but there would be need to be done in a very boring manner, like during downtime phases. I don't know. It's hard to figure out. It's like this is a whole other conversation about the state of healers. But it's like I do kind of agree in a sense with him that I would like our healing tools to be used a bit more. Like we have a spell, like I even see it on his bars on Y. This one. This puts a target to spill. To spill. What the fuck am I saying? This puts the target to sleep. Where do we use it? Fucking nowhere. Even in the outer world, there's barely situations where you can use it. You can kind of use it in deep dungeon. As a healer, you can kind of interrupt casts, I guess. Not on all targets, but you can. But otherwise, like, we have so many tools that are just not being fucking used. I do agree with him, but unfortunately, our game is just not designed around specifically healer mechanics. Healer mechanics are, for a while, are going to be just heal, DPS if you feel like it. Sometimes, I guess, dispel if you feel like it. And I guess healer stacks, that's it. There's not really a lot of healing mechanics, unfortunately.
E8, for example, where you have to dispel somebody so that they get knocked back into the right position, or you don't dispel somebody and stuff like that. That kind of stuff is interesting.
That's why, like, if you're interested in stuff like this, I recommend playing specifically the barrier healer. Either, like, I can kind of see why he could feel like a bit of like need for healer mechanics, because he is playing the most boring one. This is not a call out, by the way. White Mage is valid. White Mage is strong. But White Mage is simple. It is not difficult. You can have a go at me if you feel like it, but it's not hard, in comparison to the other three healers. The other three healers are gonna tickle your brain. How do you use your cards more efficiently? Are you using the cards in proper windows as well? How to use shields or mitigation for both Sage and Scholar? You're gonna have a lot more fun, and you're gonna think a lot less about Isuna, the other three healers. Maybe at some point, if he ever decides to go back to Astro or try Barrier healers, he might have some more fun. But Isuna, unfortunately, is such a wacky little thing, such a silly little thing to want.
Yeah, I think there's room for that because it's cool for. I like utility in fights. I don't just like raw damage, raw healing, raw mit. I like utility as well, and Azuna for me is like a utility spell. Now, when I did make that comment, there were a lot of people on my Twitch.
I think he would like to play Scholar. Actually, I'm trying to remember the name of that boss. Hold on. In World of Warcraft, on their Mothras, there was a mechanic essentially where the entire group had to go fast between 2 points, both on Mythic and Heroic. On Mythic a bit more, but like that's a whole different conversation. On Heroic, a lot of people will pick up both in Duty Finder and as like set groups. They will preferably pick classes that have speed increase, like utility for your entire team. I was a healer for my fucking team. My raid leaders asked me to go feral, either feral or guardian druid, so that I would have God, I've already forgot the name of the spell, but they have a spell that basically AoE buff for your entire team that gives them extra speed. I was told to swap just for that shit. So I feel like because of utility like that, I feel like he would enjoy Scholar, because Scholar has so much utility. Expedience, spread low, anything. Healing increase, soil. It's like, I feel like he would actually enjoy it a bit more. Probably not, because he is the world's greatest monk player. But if he ever does heal again, please, and I beg you, please, 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 Sage or Scholar, please. I love you.
That were like, no, we don't want this, we don't want this, we don't want this. But why is it there, in my opinion? Like, if it's not there, if it's there, it should be used for something. And I'm not saying every fight needs to be, like, Azuna heavy, but it would just be nice to have some application at times. And feel free to disagree with that. I really don't mind. That's fine. That's just my personal opinion. Obviously, I'm not a full-time healer and stuff, so it is what it is. Oh man, I did play this fight horribly. I thought I played this fight alright, but I'm looking now, I'm dying, I'm getting the damage downs.
it's always easier to look at the fight when you're not the one progging. There's always gotta be the human factor, the focus. Like, it's always easier gonna be to see this. You're always gonna notice a lot more mistakes when you're watching a clear. But still cleared it. You still did your job. Sure, you got some damage downs right here, but what MMO player doesn't have the downs anymore these days, right? It's kind of mandatory for rating. You still healed, you kept people alive, and you cleared the fight. You did good.
One thing that was really funny is that I was healing, and I didn't really put like the maximum amount of effort into it. I didn't go and research a bunch of stuff. I just read what all my abilities did, got chat to kind of talk about.
You didn't watch like 16 different guides? How fucking dare you? I'm gonna leg sweep you. I'm kidding, that's fine. Who gives a shit?
What everything does, and then I just went into it, and I just learned as I went. And we did 60.
Hold on. Did he learn his spell specifically throughout the fight? Ooh. Okay.
Pulls, and I just learned over the pulls, you know? Just every pull I tried to do something a little bit better. Every pull I tried to, like, think, okay, where can I better use my healing cooldowns and stuff like that. And toward the end, like, when the boss is almost dead, here, this is where I had to... This was an incredible part of the fight, where you're doing, like, back-to-back-to-back sequence of all of them.
That's what it does. Fucking now we remember. So the light variant of Burst Strike, there's going to be a delay twister. Basically an explosion underneath you. So once the cast is done, you move from your spot and that spot explodes after. Now I remember. God, I'm old.
Mechanics that have been in the fight. And this is where I needed to cycle my cooldowns well. And we actually wiped previously because I hadn't assigned... Like, I accidentally used 2 healing cooldowns when I shouldn't have. I only needed to use 1. So, you'd have all of these, I'd accidentally fat-fingered my, like, 2 cooldowns when I shouldn't have, and then afterwards people had the discussion, like, can we assign healing cooldowns so that this doesn't happen again, and then we went into a proper assignment, which I don't really ever like when I have to do hard assignments with stuff. It takes the, I don't know, there's something weird about it, like, takes the fun out for me. I like to play things on the fly.
He is now finally stumbling into the healer dilemma we got right now in 14. A lot of healers stop having fun when they know what's gonna happen. When they know that their rotation is now static, nothing is gonna change, the clear is gonna happen. Nothing fun is happening. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, Savage is like that. Ultimates, sometimes, but they're still very static, and sometimes you gotta fucking trick shot spread lows and your cooldowns. It's might be a bit more tricky, but once you practice it enough, it gets boring as well. But if anyone from Psybears chat is present here, tell him to go into chaotic and heal it. Tell him to heal chaotic. Tell him to heal chaotic. Tell him to heal chaotic. Tell him to fresh prog and heal chaotic.
I don't always like hard assignments, but maybe that's just a weird thing with me that I need to get over. But what was really funny on this fight was because I didn't put in a bunch of research before I went into it, I just sort of went into it cold, is I was using my tincture of strength because
I was gonna ask about it, by the way. I saw, like, I didn't want to, like, because I already sounded very mean in the last video when I kind of talked about him healing Ifrit, but now I'm also, like, watching his bars, and he mouse-clicked on the Tincture of Strength. I didn't want to point it out. I genuinely didn't, but since he did it, and that was funny. What a silly little sausage you are, Psybear. What a little silly sardine you are. If you need some mind potions, just ask. I'll get you some.
That's what I use for Monk and Samurai. So I was using, like, my grade 8 tinctures of strength or whatever it is, and I was potting, like, twice a pull for, like, 30 pulls. No, it wasn't 30 pulls. It would have been about, like, maybe the last 10, 15 in kill range. And I'd only realized afterwards when I was looking at, like, the FF logs and the FF analyzer and stuff like that, and then I was like, oh my god, I was using a tincture of strength, because I just didn't even think, like, I was like, it's a potion, it's a combat potion, it will apply for everybody.
Nope.
No, you have different combat potions for different things. In WoW, it's a little bit different, so it's just my WoW braining.
Small tip: if you are ever confused with potions, or if you ever need a specific potion, you don't always need specifically DPS ones. But if you look on my bars, actually, I have the button behind me as well. But if you look on my bars as well, this is Super Ether. This little button right here at the bottom, this is Super Ether. If you ever are confused whether or not you need mind potions or anything else, as a healer, have this instead. As many as you fucking feel like it. Restoring mana sometimes is going to be a lot more important. If you die, you come back to life and you don't have any mana. You kind of need mana to do your job. So, sometimes when you're progging, it's not the mind potions or anything else that you need as a healer, it's this, Super Ether. This is gonna be, you need these for prog.
Again, but so funny, so silly. Yeah, this was really fun. This was really, really, really fun. If you guys want, like the full length, I've got this hour-long VOD of me doing the fight, of getting the kill, talking about it, reviewing the logs, reviewing the FF analyzer, talking about my cooldown use and where I was trying to do this and that. I just wanted to give you guys a quick video.
I'm not gonna look into that VOD because it's not fun. For Psybear, who wants to improve, analyze mistakes, movements, etc., little details, that's for him. For me, or I'm pretty sure most viewers, the most fun is always going to be to watch someone prog and learn the fight, or even learn what their job does. That's going to be always the most fun. So all the details and the sciencey things, I don't fucking care. I want to see some more heal fights. I want to see him heal on other jobs, and then have a little retrospective from his point of view, like what it's like to heal on different jobs. Because he healed on Astro, he has a little perspective there. He healed now on White Mage. Maybe the next fight he can do either on Sage or Scholar. Probably on Sage, because Sage is easier. But if he wants a real fucking experience, Scholar, please. Psybear. Scholar. But yeah, I'm glad Psybear at least had some fun. Because if there's anything that is lacking at the moment in Final Fantasy XIV when it comes to specifically healing fights, it's fun. It is just there's just not enough fun for us healers specifically. There's a lot of DPS mechanics, there's adjustment mechanics, there's tank mechanics. Healers, fuck. I guess I'll heal now. What else?
Talking about my experiences, but if you guys want this full VOD, please comment down below, or just let me know somehow. Give this a lot of likes, give this a lot of views, and I'll post this full 1 hour VOD, because I think that this would be cool for people who want a more in-depth view of like how I tackled things. But yeah, this was really, really exciting, really fun, fantastic boss. I think one of my favorite bosses that I've done. A great one to heal. I'm really proud of myself. Yes, did I do everything perfectly? Absolutely not. Is there a lot of areas I could have improved? Absolutely. But did I have fun? Yes. Did I cook the boss well? Did I come up with some good strats, some good solutions, and did I manage to keep everybody alive long enough for us to get the kill? Yes. That's good enough for me. I'll take that. I definitely...
And that is perfect. That's all you need. If you have fun, you heal it while people didn't die, and you killed the boss, that's all that fucking matters. The fuck? Unless you're world progging, unless you're going week 1, unless you're doing current content, unless, you're actually lacking DPS, that's when all these little semantics about, do things optimally, do things the right way, Strummer. Strummer, why aren't you DPSing more instead of healing, Strummer? Fucking, no, no. Fun, priority number 1. Killing boss, priority number 2. Sometimes you don't have to kill the boss to have fun.
I want to try and do some more healing in future. Pandemonium, look out. I'll be doing some healing there.
No, don't do that. Hold on. I'm thinking, what fight is Psybear on right now? Let me double check this. What fight is Psybear on right now? I remember I watched him recently. Okay, he is on P3S. Oh, he's live right now. Hold on. Hi, Psybear. I think you're cute. There you go. So So he is on P3S right now. Okay, fine. Fucking ignore me. Whatever.
Right. Right. Guys, I'm gonna cancel UCOB tonight.
Coward. Right. So when I'm thinking of Pandemonium, which fights would actually be fun to heal? Maybe P4S. P4S might be fun to heal. P7S. P8S. P9S might be fun, depending on your experience. P10S not really, but healer LB is kind of mandatory for prog groups. P9S, P11S, P12S. Yeah, not a lot of fights that are fun to heal in Pandemonium, unfortunately. I would like him to heal Arcadian, though. Or some ultimates. That'd be fun.
Yeah, absolutely, because this was really fun, and I really liked White Mage. So, fantastic. Let me know some stuff. If you guys got some advice and stuff, go for it. When it comes to healing or whatever, or...
My advice is don't cancel UCUP, coward. Get it done. I'm gonna wait for that video now. Oh yeah, I think it's still a good video. I'm glad he had fun healing.